Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Making AI Speak Human. I'm your host, Hans van Dam, and I'm here today with the one and only Guido Jongen. How's it going, man?
Yeah, all good, thanks. What about
Good.
yourself?
Yeah, I'm wonderful. I'm loving my new camera and my new setup here. So we're trying it all out, and so far I am feeling it. Um, we were talking the other day. You have a background in conversational AI for a long time. You've been at Nuance for a couple of years. You're now
Yep.
entirely focused on virtual humans. So we're like, let's hop on a call, record it, and talk about that a little bit. So tell me, what's keeping you busy? What are you up to?
Yeah, so the virtual humans or the digital humans are keeping me very busy. So as you said, I have a history in conversational AI, and as part of my work for Nuance, I've been in touch with let's say the concept of a digital human, and that instantly struck me, and I thought, well, this needs to be my next big thing, and that's what happened, or at least I made it happen. And that's basically my day-to-day business. So I'm basically preaching all the benefits of digital humans to companies, as I strongly believe that it's a really powerful instrument that companies can leverage in their communication with their customers and with their consumers. So yeah.
So you're advocating a lot as this is taking shape in the world, but also as your own business is kind of taking shape, but just being out there and talking about it. And, I always hear like the word digital human, virtual beings, then there's the metaverse. Some companies for years have had an avatar on their websites. When you say virtual being, virtual human, what are you talking about? What does that mean to you?
It's an interesting question because I haven't seen actual definitions of all the terms that you just put together in one sentence. So for me, when we let's say bottom up, an avatar is more like a static thing. Although some people use it to refer to a digital human, but for me, the avatar is like, let's say in the Netherlands we have a Billy from the retailer bol.com, who is a static figure. And they use it for years. Let's say one step further is the digital or the virtual human. I don't see much difference in approach over there. So it's basically a 3D generated or a computer generated 3D person. Often doesn't have to be a human like that is animated. So it can move, it can mimic emotions, or it can move hands or legs or whatever type of a digital human you have. And then basically one step next is the metaverse, where these same digital humans basically live in their own space instead of in a, let's say, Web2-like website environment. So that's the way I see it. But again, I haven't seen a very strong line in using the definitions by all the people in the same way.
Yeah, so you sort of see a static avatar that's been around for a long time. Then we have an animated avatar, whether that's human-like or maybe cartoonish. I think we're talking Soul Machines or NVIDIA and the sort of stuff that they're creating. And then there's you have a character in the metaverse, and nobody knows what that is still, but that is going to be the exciting thing. So I'm assuming, but maybe I'm wrong here, is that you're telling companies play around with this now because you will be doing stuff in the metaverse, so you need to develop that capability, kind of. Is that what you're working on?
True. I usually talk about it and look at it, let's say, top down. So on a higher level, you have the concept of the metaverse, and you have all the big tech players buying into that, right? So you have Microsoft launching Mesh for Teams, where you can be in your Teams meeting as your own avatar. Google is working on stuff. Facebook or Meta is working on stuff. So all the big tech is looking at avatars, digital humans, and how you should place them in the metaverse. And then you have the metaverse as, let's say, still unidentified object, basically. So there is something that will replace the existing internet, something where you not visit a web page, but be actual part of it, with your own identity, the way you look as a digital human, and the way you want to expose yourself as a digital human. But nobody still knows whether that will be, let's say, one environment where all brands and all people can meet, or that will be separate environments where you need to hop on, hop off. So that's unknown yet. That's fully in development, and I expect that to take for the next maybe 5 years or longer to fully take place and to fully settle. And in the meantime, it gives companies and brands a huge opportunity to start experimenting with basically with avatar communication to their customers. I recently read a very interesting article where they basically saw the trend that you have B2B, you have B2C, but now there's also A2C, so avatar to consumer communication. And that's starting a whole new trend. And with digital humans that are or can be controlled by a conversational system, brands can easily start in their app, on their website, to experiment with that. And how does it influence the customer? Is the customer more likely to trust what your chatbot is telling him? Are the engagement rates higher? All these things can be easily tested, and with all those learnings, you can make your way into the metaverse step by step, so you are fully ready after 5 years or 4 or whatever how long it takes.
And then do you feel a lot of resistance? Like what's something that a lot of people maybe get wrong when you talk to them about these things? Is it maybe it's just a fad, or what?
I think. Yeah, most often it's the most interesting approach, or the most interesting way to tell it is a customer I was talking about, and he said, "Well, I would call this a soft add-on." So it's more like a nice to have. And with that, I think companies are underestimating the power of basically mimicking the human characteristics in a conversation. So really turning your, let's say your existing chatbot, which is something, into someone with a digital human. And if I would ask you, well, Hans, would you treat something different than you would treat someone? Then the obvious answer is yes, of course. If you have the feeling that you are talking to something, then your whole view of that conversation is hugely different. And that's a very strong benefit that people tend to underestimate in this whole discussion.
Yeah, what I like about that is when smart speakers started coming out and allowed us to start this company, maybe smart speakers for brands, it's not what people thought it might be, but the people that started out and started testing it, they became more human-centric, and it forced them to think more deeply about the customer relationship that they have, how they want to interact with people, what they want those conversations to be. And I think that has made them better companies, and it has given them better IVR systems and better chat and all of the things that come with them, but it has made them better companies just because they look at people differently. And when it comes to Metaverse, I also tell customers, like, I don't know what it's going to be. Like, I'm not that clever, but I do know the interface is going to be graphically more advanced. Even if that is the case, that simple premise, then it is already worth trying stuff out and experimenting, so that you at least know what you're talking about when these things really take off and before you're too late.
Yeah, that's true. If you've already thought of, okay, how do I want to look, let's say, in the metaverse, so as a digital human or as a brand, and what's my message? Do I want to be there to sell or to service or to do both or just to have fun? Those are very fundamental things to consider. And well, again, you can take that approach now step by step instead of hurrying behind your competition when it's too late. So it's a chance that we have now.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, what's the worst case scenario? But you kind of answered that already. It's like when a brand's competitor is super active in the metaverse, they're already and they're ready. Everybody's always looking for the next generation of customers that are playing more video games than probably your executives. So when they can find you in the metaverse, they will reach out to you much faster than to your competitor. So you do want to be there whenever that is going to happen. And when we think about that stuff right now, like what do you think? So brands should start experimenting. What's the first thing they should do?
I think the first thing, it's important to, let's say, to find out your sweet spot for this type of test. So although I would like it, I don't think it makes much sense to put an avatar on your homepage and let everyone talk to it. So you should look, okay, where would this avatar be most beneficial for my customers? And that can be, let's say, for instance, in a mortgage process, where you can have a very personalized but automated mortgage application process. And you can use, let's say, the screen to process real-time data of the interest rates, of your salary, etc., which all leads to a certain advice that normally would be done by a human. And at some point you need a handover, but find your sweet spot. And the way I see it is, you have, let's say, a digital human working together with conversational AI. So the conversational AI is for the message you want to send across. That will not change. And the digital human is for the feeling. So if you want to send feeling on top of your message, then you have your sweet spot. And that can be retention. So people who want to leave, who are, let's say, tempted to stay as a customer. It can be mortgage. It can be something different for a healthcare company. But I think that's the most important thing. Just together, and I'm always ready to brainstorm with companies about that. Find your sweet spot where you can start your testing and expand gradually as you see it working.
Yeah, because I think that is good to emphasize here, is that this is an extra layer on top of your AI system that you probably already have. So you're not starting from scratch. What you're, as you have a chatbot or a voice application, you might tap that into an extra channel, right? You might have it on your website, and then you say, oh, I'm going to go to my app. In this case, you're not adding a channel, but you're adding just a layer of experience. So even if that avatar for now, it doesn't work out, or you just want to do a pilot, you're still building and keeping that AI assistant that is going to give you value through automation, through customer experience, etc. So people, that's kind of the sweet spot where people should be going. If they want to reach out to you, what should they do to connect with you?
Well, they can use LinkedIn. That will work. Or go to the website. There's my email address or a contact form. So that all works. Or maybe you can post my phone number over here. Will work as well. But that shouldn't
Call this man.
That shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, and what's fun, because this is such an evolving space, lots of development here. We're going to just check in with you regularly and see what's new in the land of the virtual beings, in the virtual land of the virtual beings. And one day we will ask ourselves, if that's a virtual human, then who am I as a human? And isn't that the same? Because am I also not part of a network of nodes in which we think we're all individuals?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we might need a drink for that one. All right, good to see you.
Great time there.
All right, thank you so much, Guido. We'll check in with you soon, and thank you so much. Be in touch.
All right, take care. Bye.